is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
This was the unsettling scene last week in our nation's capital. Rioting mobs pushing into and damaging the halls of Congress, injuring police officers in the process. A Capitol police officer was beaten to death, and one woman was shot and killed inside the Capitol. Several others died on the Capitol grounds from what were described as medical emergencies. All of this motivated by several factors, including President Trump's invitation to those who had wanted to support him and his insistence that the election had been stolen and that there was massive fraud. All claims that to this point have been dismissed in courts of law and by all the states that certified their election tallies. January 6th was the date when both houses of Congress were set to count the electoral votes as mandated by the Constitution, but this time it was different. Several members of the House and Senate announcing they'd object to some of those certified votes in swing states. Was it political grandstanding designed to curry favor with President Trump and his base, or, as Senator Ted Cruz says, his effort to fight against voter fraud? Was any of it constitutional? Joining me this morning is Dr. Paul Brace, the chair of the Legal Studies and Political Science at Rice University. Professor Brace, thank you for joining me this morning and for agreeing to stick around for Newsmakers Extra, because we got a lot to talk about. The purpose of that January 6th date was certification of the election. The Republicans were saying they were objecting to work. Was it a workaround of the Constitution, what they were doing, or were they within the bounds of the Constitution?
Well, Article 2 of the Constitution gives the power to regulate elections to state legislatures. That process had been followed. January 6th was the date to which it was agreed to certify the electoral votes. What they were trying to do, I believe, was challenge the electoral votes in a handful of states, notably Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The precedent for this isn't in the Constitution. It's in the election of 1876. In that disputed election, Samuel Tilden was one electoral vote short of a victory. But you will note that we do not talk about President Samuel Tilden. Instead, we talk about Rutherford B. Hayes. How did that happen? That happened because there were 4 states with disputed electoral votes, and a bipartisan commission was established in the Congress comprised of originally equal amounts of Republicans and Democrats with one independent. The independent stepped down because they were elected and was replaced by a Republican, and the commission invalidated 19 votes and gave the 20 that Rutherford B. Hayes needed to be elected president of the United States. I think this was the avenue Mr. Cruz and Mr. Hawley were pursuing on Wednesday.
So technically, there are a lot of lawyers in Congress, and so I think probably technically they were finding their way to do this, and in a way that could not be contested as unconstitutional in that regard.
Well, yeah. As they say in sports, if you can't rule the game, game the rules. And they were gaming the rules. Notably, the states all, the outcomes were not disputed at the state level. And especially notable, these were Republicans in, I think, all instances who'd certified their own elections. And so there was no dispute at the state level. And what we had was Congress trying to intervene at the state and disallow the outcomes of the elections at the state level, which is quite a reach, particularly by Republicans who normally are proponents of states' rights and federalism. This was a big reach by several or many Republicans to try and intervene in state processes and overturn their electoral processes.
Well, one of the things that happened here is that this president has changed a lot in terms of how Republicans are acting in Congress. One of the things that he did was at this rally last week was, suggest to the protesters they go down to the Capitol, and as a result of that, this riot took place. Now, as a result of that, there have been Democrat leaders and one congressman who said, let's invoke the 25th Amendment. I think that people hear that and they think, okay, well, he can be removed, but there's a lot that has to happen to make that come into play, and there's not a lot of time to make that happen either. Talk a little bit about why that's not a reality, a realistic opportunity.
Well, we're on unproven ground there. The 25th Amendment was adopted in the wake of two things. Eisenhower's heart attack in the 50s scared the nation, and then, of course, Kennedy after the assassination. Ultimately, of course, he was dead, but you had the strong prospect there of potentially a brain-dead president. What do we do? And we had no guideline. So the 25th Amendment was, I think, motivated by a desire to deal with the unfortunate circumstance of an incapacitated president, rather than what some would say is an incompetent president. Mr. Trump is not incapacitated, but based upon what many believe was his inciting a riot and a mob, he is an incompetent president, and that would be the grounds. The problem with the 25th is it requires a majority of his own cabinet and the vice president to turn against him. And as I recall, and this has never been tried before, a president can challenge that, and then it has to go back to Congress. Now, if a president's incapacitated, they obviously can't challenge it, but Mr. Trump isn't incapacitated, and he would obviously challenge it.
Right. Well,
this is an unusual time to test the 25th Amendment.
And the other issue is impeachment. I know some people have been talking about that. That's what we're going to talk about on the other side in our Newsmakers Extra, because we've got a lot more, even in addition to the impeachment after that. Thank you again, Dr. Brace, for agreeing to be with me on that. Just ahead, we're going to talk with Professor Brandon Rottinghouse. A couple of his areas of expertise are the presidency and also in Texas politics, which are both in the spotlight this week. How's this president changed the way the presidency is viewed? In Houston.